Good morning. I hereby call to order this 12th meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2022, and I ask that you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning. I want to welcome everyone to our meeting. As you can see, we've had a few changes, just a few, right? So I do want to take this opportunity before we start with our public meeting to welcome back Commissioner John Coleman, welcome him back to the bench, and also to welcome our new commissioners, Commissioner Zerfuss and Vice Chairman Stephen DeFrank. Let me just say a few words of welcoming my colleagues. At a special meeting last Friday, after our colleagues were all confirmed and sworn in, we did elect Vice Chairman Stephen M. DeFrank to serve as the Vice Chairman of the Commission for the rest of this year and for 2023. But I want to say a few words about all of my colleagues because I'm excited. I know Commissioner Yanora and I are excited.
Yes.
We added a couple more chairs, right? I just want to, in terms of returning Commissioner John Coleman, we just want to thank him and are excited for his reappointment and nomination back to the commission. You know, he has served here since 2010 and was appointed again by Governor Wolf and has had many stints here, or a couple stints here as our vice chairman, serving first from 2011 to 2015, and then last year into this year. So we do want to thank him. You know, he brings a wealth of knowledge and information to the commission, so we're happy to have him back on the bench with us. With our new commissioners, I will start with Commissioner Zerfuss. She is highly regarded in government affairs as a government affairs strategist and serving as a public servant for the Commonwealth and a trusted advisor over many years throughout the Commonwealth, and most recently with the governor's office in the Office of Legislative Affairs. She has had many years of advancing regulatory and policy issues throughout her many positions with the Commonwealth, so we want to thank her and welcome her. And then for Vice Chairman Stephen DeFrank, he has had an extensive public and private experience that he brings to us here at the Commission. He has worked on the enactment of many pieces of legislation which impacts the Commission and those entities that we regulate over the past couple of decades. Steve and I served in the Senate Democratic Caucus, so I do welcome him and I congratulate him into getting elected into the position of Vice Chairman for the Commission. And so please join me in welcoming our new commissioners. Before I start, I do want to give any of them an opportunity to say a few words, and I will just, please open up your mics, anyone who wants to start.
I would like to congratulate Vice Chairman DeFrank on your appointment and as your election to Vice Chairman. And Commissioner Zerfuss, I'd like to congratulate you. And John, welcome back. Look forward to working with all of you over the next 2 years. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I want to thank my colleagues as well for a couple things. First off, thank you for electing your faith and confidence in me, electing me unanimously as vice chair. Also want to thank the three to my left here for preparing me for today's meeting. You and your staff have been invaluable resources. It's been a whirlwind over this last week. There's a large agenda here that we're going to be considering today, and without the help of you and your staff, it would be very difficult to to do that today. So I thank you for that. Also wanted to introduce a couple of individuals that will be joining my staff. I'm in the process of hiring folks, but I have the great fortune of bringing on Matt Worst. Matt joins my staff from the chair's office. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You owe me.
I
Don't let
know,
you-
too. Also, Jessica Geyer will be joining my staff as my administrative officer. Jess also comes from the chairman's office.
Two
Thank you.
things. You
Thank
owe me
for her
again,
as
right?
well. Thanks.
I am not much of a talker, but at the very least, I wanted to say thank you to my fellow commissioners and to the staff at the PUC for helping me get started here and preparing me for today, and for many of you in the audience who have been very kind in this process and getting here. And I just look forward to continuing my public service to the people of Pennsylvania, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity, and it is great to be back. I have to admit that retirement for 2 weeks was great, but I surely miss the PUC family and delighted to be back here on the bench. And this is where I started 12 and a half years ago in this very seat, so it's good to be back on the end seat as well. I want to thank the governor, Governor Wolf, for now the second nomination. This is the fourth nomination over my tenure and twice by Governor Wolf. So I want to thank the governor for nominating me and having the confidence in returning me here to the commission. Want to thank the Senate leadership. It's been an interesting journey, and sometimes it's not necessarily as much about us as it is about other things. And I think that was in part some of the case here that we got swept into some of the other matters are going on across the street, but I am delighted to be back here, and again appreciate the confidence in the Republican Senate to have me here as well. I thank my colleagues for their patience and for their support over the years, and it hasn't been easy trying to manage the organization when we have 5 commissioners, then 3. Or 4, then 3, and then down to 2. So I think that Gladys and Ralph have done a superb job in keeping the organization running. I want to thank the PUC family, all of those team members within the commission that have been supportive and helpful to me over the years, and particularly over the last couple of months in getting me back here to the commission. Our legislative affairs group, get A+ for me. Imagine if you have one commissioner going through a renomination, it can be a little challenging. You can just imagine what it's like trying to arrange Senate meetings for 3 nominees. So to JJ and June Perry, my hat's off to you. Guys did a super job. I also want to thank my team. Stuck with me through all of this. And I know that's not always easy, that sometimes it's easier to jump off and to find employment elsewhere, but they believed in me and stuck with me. So I want to thank Kim Beamer and Shane Rooney and Tiffany Hunt and Matt Totino for sticking with me, and I look forward to a few more good years here at the commission. So thank you again this morning, and I look forward to getting back to full strength.
Thank you very much, commissioners. Let's start with our meeting. As a reminder, today's meeting, which is open to the public, the commission will act on various matters. There is no opportunity for the public to address the commission at these public meetings. The public meeting motions, statements, and video will be available on the commission's website later today. So our first item for consideration is the approval of the minutes for August 25th, and I will turn to Commissioner Yanora, who is the editor of the minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I reviewed the minutes of the August 25th, 2022 public meeting and move that they're approved as submitted.
You have heard the motion to approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve? Well, no, he just did the motion to. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion, edits, anything like that? Without objection, the minutes are approved. Now, we will turn it over to the Secretary of the Commission, Rosemary Chiavetta, who will lead us through this morning's agenda.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Welcome, Vice Chairman DeFrank and Commissioner Zerfuss, and welcome back, Commissioner Coleman. Your various offices and bureaus have prepared the following agenda items for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with the recommendation of Director Monahan and the Bureau of Audits that the Commission adopt the annual report of all management audits and management efficiency investigations completed by the Bureau of Audits during the fiscal year 2021-2022.
Is there, excuse me, is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman DeFrank, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 2, in matters presented by Director Sophie and the Office of Special Assistants, it is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt both items on page 2, beginning with the informal investigation of the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement versus National Gas and Electric LLC, and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 3, and continuing and ending the omnibus with the first item on page 4, the formal complaint of Rebecca Dutrieuille versus Aqua, Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Zerfuss. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing on page 4, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Stony Bank Development LLC versus the Walnut Hill Utility Company.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfuss.
Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, in the interest of transparency, I have a statement I would like added to the public record, and I will read it as if I'm reading it in its entirety. But before joining my staff as Chief of Staff, Lillian Harris was working in the Office of Special Assistants and worked on this case. Please note she has not advised me in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Zerfuss. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 5, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Ruben Tarani versus the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman DeFrank, second by Commissioner Zerfuss. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfuss.
Madam Chair and Madam Secretary, in the interest of transparency, I would like to add a statement to the public record, and I will read it as if I'm reading it in its entirety. But before joining my staff as Chief of Staff, Lillian Harris was working in the Office of Special Assistants and worked on this case. Please note she has not advised me in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing at the bottom of page 5, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion the formal complaint of Patricia Wasserman versus PPL Electric Utilities, and continuing the omnibus to include the first item on page 6, ending the omnibus with the tariff supplements filed by Aqua Pennsylvania Water and Wastewater Companies.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing at the bottom of page 6, it is recommended that consistent with 4 PA Code Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding the petition for reconsideration in the formal complaint of Amanda Polk Herrer versus the West Penn Power Company be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation to record the votational vote.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman DeFrank, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 7. It is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Patricia Vaughn versus PPL Electric Utilities.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Yanora, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfuss.
Madam Chair and Madam Secretary, in the interest of transparency, I would like to add a statement to the record, and I will read it as if I'm reading it in its entirety. But before joining my staff as Chief of Staff, Lillian Harris was working in the Office of Special Assistance and worked on this case. Please note she has not advised me in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing at the bottom of page 7, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion the remaining item on page 7, the formal complaint of Terry Williams versus the Philadelphia Gas Works, and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 8, and both items on page 9, and both items on page 10, both items on page 11, and both items on page 12, ending the omnibus with the application of Compassion Transport, LLC.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 13. It is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the application of Black Pearl LLC.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Zerfuss. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfuss.
It's the last one, guys. Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, in the interest of transparency, I have a statement I would like to add to the public record. I will read it as if I'm reading it in its entirety. But before joining my staff as Chief of Staff, Lillian Harris was working in the Office of Special Assistance and worked on this case. Please note that she has not advised me in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 14, and matters presented by Director Diskin and the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 14, beginning with the distribution system improvement charge under Act 11, and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 15, all three items on page 16, both items on page 17, both items on page 18, both items on page 19, and including both items on page 20, ending the omnibus with the application of Columbia Gas regarding service in Lawrence County, Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 21. It is recommended that consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission issuing a security certificate for the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation to record the notational vote on this matter?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing on page 21, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion the remaining item on page 21, the application of Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania regarding service in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, and continuing the omnibus on page 22 to include and end with the cancellation of certificates of public convenience of certain motor carriers.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing at the bottom of page 22, it is recommended that, consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission issuing a security certificate to the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority be recorded and entered in the minutes of this public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation to record this notational vote?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Yanora, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 23, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 23, beginning with the application of Reliable Power Alternatives Corporation, and continuing the omnibus to include the first item on page 24, ending the omnibus with the application of the Columbia Gas Company of Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing on page 24, it is recommended that the Commission adopt and make public the quarterly earnings report of jurisdictional utilities.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a statement.
Vice Chairman DeFrank.
Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, please submit my remarks to the record as though I read it in its entirety. Today, the Commission releases its report on quarterly earnings of jurisdictional utilities. With this report, the Commission exercises its informed judgment to establish the return on equity utilized in the calculation of the distribution system improvement charge for various electric, natural gas, and water utility tariffs. The DISC ROE determination serves as an important dual purpose. First, it works to attract and retain capital investment, providing utilities the opportunity to earn a fair rate of return. Second, it works as a consumer protection by insulating customers from utility over-earnings. Any utility which is earning a rate on equity in excess of this metric will have its DISC rate set back to 0%. The report holds the electric sector figure steady at 9.45%. It also holds the natural gas sector figure steady at 10.15%. Finally, the report makes a gradual adjustment to the water sector figure, dropping it 5 basis points from 9.80 to 9.75%. This marks the first reduction in the water DISC ROE in over a year. The Commission must maintain diligence in protecting utility customers, particularly in this time of higher commodity costs. We must also take into account financial market conditions. I believe the results of this report appropriately take into account these factors. I stand ready to adjust the DISC ROEs in future reports should circumstances warrant. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You have heard the statements of Vice Chairman DeFrank. Is there any further comments or statements?
Chairman, I do have a joint statement with Commissioner Yanora.
Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. And we would ask that our joint statement be entered in the record as though we read it in its entirety. Before the Commission today for consideration is the Bureau of Technical Utility Service report on the quarterly earnings for jurisdictional utilities for the quarter ended June 30th, 2022. The return on equity that the Commission sets in this report is essential to ongoing infrastructure improvement work because it establishes what a return the company is authorized to include in its distribution system improvement charge and establishes an earnings cap for DISC eligibility. Utilizing the DISC to invest in critical utility infrastructure is imperative to ensuring that utilities have access to capital to provide reasonable, safe, reliable, and adequate public utility service. The discounted cash flow method and the capital asset pricing model, which are the foundation for the Commission's DISC equity return methodology, currently indicate increased capital costs for the water industry. Additionally, increasing interest rates now puts upward pressure on water utility debt costs, which will further exacerbate the downward ROE adjustment the Commission makes today. Given the need for significant water safety infrastructure investment in the Commonwealth, Pennsylvania should encourage rather than discourage capital investment in the water sector in this state. It is now more important than ever to incentivize water utilities to invest in infrastructure, especially given the remediation that will be required for emerging contaminants such as PFOA and PFAS, lead, and copper. Recently, EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler has acknowledged the urgency of investing in water infrastructure investment across the country. The time for water utilities to invest and improve their infrastructure is now, and this is not the time to lower the DISC ROE for the water industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman, for the joint statement of you and Commissioner Yanora. Any further discussion? I guess I'm the last person to say it. Oh, there you go. Commissioner Zerfuss.
Thank you. I'll let you go last. Madam Chair, Madam Secretary, for the purposes of the record, I would like to associate myself with the statement of Vice Chairman DeFrank. Thank you.
Okay. I'm assuming there's no further statements. If not, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
Nay?
Nay.
The motion passes 3-2, noting the dissent of Commissioner Yanora and Commissioner Coleman.
Turning to page 25. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 25, beginning with the issuance of securities certificate for the Columbia Water Company and ending with the application of Combined Public Communications, LLC.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 26, and matters presented by Chief Counsel Hicks and the Law Bureau. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 26, beginning with the petition filed by T-Mobile Northeast and T-Mobile Central LLC, and continuing and including both items on page 27 and ending the omnibus with a declaratory order regarding the Creekside Homeowners Association.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 28, and matters presented by Chief Administrative Law Judge Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 28, beginning with the recommended decision of ALJ Haas in the investigation of the North Heidelberg Sewer Company, and ending the omnibus with the recommended decision of ALJs Hoyer and DeVoe in the amended Universal Service and Energy Conservation Plan of the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman DeFrank, second by Commissioner Zerfuss. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 29, It is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Brady's recommended decision in the gas division tariff filing of the PECO Energy Company.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Yanora, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing on page 29, it is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Buckley's recommended decision in the 1307F filing of UGI Utilities.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Vice Chairman DeFrank, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 30, it is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Heap's recommended decision in the 1307F tariff filing made by the gas division of the PECO Energy Company and joint petition for settlement.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh.
Coleman.
I defer to the Vice Chairman.
A motion by Commissioner Zerfuss, second by, since we're deferring to the Vice Chairman DeFrank. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Madam Chairman, that concludes regular agenda items. Turning now to the carry-in agenda. On page 1 of the carry-in, it is recommended by the Bureau of Consumer Services that the Commission adopt the proposed order in the petition filed by the PPL Electric Utilities Corporation regarding its Customer Assistance Program Plus.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Madam Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes all agenda items to be considered today.
Thank you very much. Before we close out on today's meeting, we do have a couple items that we would like to bring to your attention. As you know, we always celebrate Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Month. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and November is Critical Infrastructure Security Month. So these two topics have an important and major impact on all of our lives. Our homes, our businesses, our communities, and our institutions all depend on safe and reliable delivery of public utility services. But those critical systems face many challenges. Safeguarding these systems against an assortment of threats, from severe weather and natural disasters to cyber attacks and physical threats, is a constant endeavor. According to the National Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, all organizations, regardless of size, should adopt a heightened posture when it comes to cybersecurity and protecting their most critical assets. And we all play a role in cybersecurity, whether it involves the systems that we use at home or the devices that we use at work. When it comes to critical infrastructure, we first want to offer our deepest thanks to the thousands of men and women across the country who work behind the scenes every day to keep our essential utility systems operating. But it's not just utility workers who play a role in safeguarding our infrastructure. For landowners across Pennsylvania, it's important to consider the growing impact of trees, especially trees located on private property outside the utility rights of way. As noted in the PUC's annual electric service reliability report, an increased tempo of storms continues to impact utility service across our state, which saw a record high number of reportable outage events that disrupted electric service during 2021. and falling trees was the #1 factor in those outage events. So consider the importance of tree maintenance around your home and your property. Finally, for years, Pennsylvania has been at the forefront of efforts to collaborate and prepare for potential threats. Much of that work was accomplished as part of the statewide exercises and forums concerning cyber and natural black sky incidents that have the potential to cause widespread disruptions to critical utility systems. I want to acknowledge the work of staff here at the PUC, along with our utilities, as well as other government agencies, emergency response organizations, and other stakeholders who regularly practice and evaluate responses to potential disruptions to critical systems. So while the security and resilience of our critical utility systems is recognized every October and November, the work of keeping these essential systems secure and operating is a year-round task. And I hope that you take a little time to consider your role in these important efforts. So I just want to thank you for that. Now I do want to turn it over to Commissioner Yanora, who's going to talk to us about Imagine a Day Without Water.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last Thursday, October 20th, the PUC joined elected officials, water utilities, community leaders, educators, and business from across the country for the 8th annual Imagine a Day Without Water. This National Day of Action educates our neighbors, public officials about the essential role water plays in all of our lives. So far in 2022, we have seen dozens of communities across the country experience devastating impacts to their water supply due to flooding, drought, underinvestment in critical infrastructure. When a community experiences the water contamination and shortages after these events, they can lack the water to drink, prepare meals, personal hygiene, and for sanitation. This lack of adequate water supply puts fire safety, hospitals, schools, and even food crops at risk. As a citizen, I am grateful for the Commonwealth has taken affirmative steps to prioritize the public need for safe, reliable, and reasonable water price. As a public utility commissioner, I'm proud to participate in achieving these priorities. That achievement would be impossible without the hard work and devotion of our commission staff. Water industry, ratepayer advocates, together we can achieve the safe, reliable, reasonable, and adequate water service that our Commonwealth and nation deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Yanora. So that ends our meeting. Once again, we want to congratulate our new commissioners and our returning commissioner, Commissioner Coleman. We do have a reception outside, and we invite those of you to please stay and be able to shake the hands of the commissioners in person. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I thought he was going to say something. Okay, I was. Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Vice Chairman DeFrank to adjourn. All those in favor in adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.